right, here we go. All right, here we go. Let's get started, yo. Let's get started. Mm-mm-mm. Ba, 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 ba. All right, here we go. All right, hey, yo, what it is and what's good, yo? Welcome back to 280 Plus, the social media podcast where I take the conversation off the timeline and go beyond the post. I'm your host, Lowe's Def, and I'm back here for episode 215 of the platform. 215. How y'all doing today? How y'all doing? I'm glad to be back here. This week, man, we're gonna be reacting to some things, just some topics on social media. There is stuff. I don't have any videos to share this week. This is just gonna be pretty much straight content. But we are gonna talk about music for a few different things this week. And then we're gonna talk about just some things that's on the internet. One thing involves a loan program that could be implemented in the coming years, and then we're going to talk about like the implications of that loan program and what could be wrong with it. We're also going to talk about some airline stuff. I mean, like I documented my trips this summer that I had, and just kind of like where we kind of stand with that, but also how one airline is finally fed up with one of their own policies that they're going to be getting rid of, probably coming in 2026. They over, y'all. We're going to talk about that policy. We're going to talk some about second screen content. So there's a new wave right now with TV, like filmmakers and TV producers and things like that, like producers of TV content. They're trying to create stuff that's called second screen content, and it's basically content that does not allow you to get, you don't have to pay full attention to it, right? And allows you to still be on your phone without like missing too much, right? And we're going to talk about some examples of second screen content, but also we already enjoy a lot of second screen content, but like if you notice, if you're gonna start noticing like maybe the quality of TV kind of, I don't want to say going down necessarily, but if you notice the quality of TV kind of changing, and I'm talking about like the actual programming of it, then it has to do with like this initiative, this push that they're going for. If I have time, we'll give a little review so far. I'm almost done with this season, but a new season of Reasonable Doubt has dropped. It actually dropped in September, and I'm late to the party. I'm almost done this season, and I don't know. It's just a show that I really enjoy. I love black entertainment, good black entertainment whenever I can get it. And I just want to soak it up a lot of times, and like I'm always grateful for it. Like anytime there's a good black show that's on TV, and even if people aren't even necessarily watching it, even if people aren't hip to it, yeah, I just enjoy it. But like this is one of those shows that like it always leaves me wanting more, and like I just wish we had like a steady stream of really good black content as opposed to just like one or two shows out at a time. We're gonna talk a little bit. So yeah, we're gonna talk a bit about that show. I think if we have time, we might squeeze that in. We're gonna talk about Shedeur Sanders, his debut, all right, and then kind of what where he's headed because he is slated for his first start this week in the NFL. We don't have to talk about the Packers this week. We don't have to talk about the Packers. Packers did win their previous game. That was the game I was supposed to go to. Packers are just kind of in a dogfight right now and trying to. They have to win some. They had to win their division. They have to win some divisional games coming up, and that's going to determine kind of where they're at come playoff time. And then we're going to talk a little bit about, because I did say we're going to talk about music a couple times. So first time I'm gonna just I'm probably just mention like an album or two that dropped. But I'm actually talking about battle rap. I have not talked about battle rap in a long time, but it's not actually battle rap that I'm talking about, but it has to do with that community. But if you know Jae Millz, Jae Millz is a pioneer, legend in battle rap, so to speak. And we're gonna see like how out of nowhere in the last like month or so, how he's had this massive resurgence, right? And we're gonna talk about that and kind of the implications of all that. and everything that has in store with that. So, all right, let's get started. Well, before we get going with the regular show though, just yeah, if you haven't already, this is an album that we'll probably review, and then in the next coming weeks, hopefully maybe in the next episode we can get some time to review this. But Wale just dropped a new album. It's called Everything Costs a Lot, and I seen some people comment like how that's like a fitting title for right what's going on in our society right now, like so that's good. So we'll get into that at some point. I do want to really listen to it, do a nice little deep dive of it. I would say that like I think that Wale probably has still dropped quality music over the last couple years, but he has not had the commercial success. It's been a while since he's really had some of that, so we'll get into that album when it does come out. um and this came out probably a couple weeks ago, but Leon Thomas has dropped a newer EP. It's called Folks. Folks spelled with a PH. And it's like a 6 or 7 track EP. I would say there's definitely like 3 bangers on there. But it's just crazy to me. Like it's crazy to me. I'm not saying it's not deserved, but it's crazy to me how big Leon Thomas has gotten in the last year. Like Leon Thomas is the guy right now in R&B. Like I mean, right now I would say, because yeah, of course you got iconic people like Chris Brown is still hovering around, but like in terms of like who is the R&B guy right now, you know what I mean? The guys right now, it's Leon Thomas. It is Bryson Tiller because Bryson Tiller dropped, a couple months ago. It is people like Brent Fires, right? But Leon Thomas is all that, and it's funny because I've been listening to, I complain about music because the only reason I complain about music a lot of times, particularly hip hop, is because I'm a fan of hip hop, and I really haven't heard a lot of the type of music I like. Wale is that type of music that I like. So we are gonna get into that when we get a chance to really dive into some stuff. But I've compensated over the years with R&B and like heavily so, but I have like certain artists that I really rock with. And I would say like, and this is evident in my like Spotify Wrapped over the last several years. And it's people like Leon Thomas, you know what I mean? It's people like Blast, it's people like Masego, it's people like Sir, right? Like so these are, what I mean, like guys that aren't the most prominent names, except for like Leon Thomas is he's surpassed like these other guys that I just named. But I've overcompensated with listening to R&B, and it was funny because I had a conversation with my son, and he was talking about like music and things like that, things that he likes, and he was telling me, he's like, yeah, Dad, I kind of like R&B, right? And I was like, and it made me feel good because it's like you don't realize that you are your kids like first. Yeah, like when it comes to boys, you're definitely your kids' first like access to like football and basketball and like their first sports team. But music, right? And I was an R&B boy growing up. I listened to a lot of R&B. It wasn't until maybe like my preteens where I really was getting into rap. Like, of course, I knew who Notorious B.I.G. was. I knew who Tupac was. I knew like, the mainstays. I knew a Busta Rhymes. I knew Ice Cube, but I wasn't really listening to rap. And that's something I think hip hop is like one of those things that you might have to kind of go through on your own solo journey. And because I play stuff like Jay-Z and things like that, and I just hope that sometimes that stuff sticks around with my son. But I think the content a lot of times with that is it's not accessible to kids, young kids. Like it, and I'm not saying that young kids don't listen to rap music, but it's not accessible for them to really enjoy and understand. Especially like even like somebody like Jay Z. I've seen stuff with they talking about Jay Z in the verses and stuff like that, and he's even come out and said like basically can't nobody compete with him. I think he is right, but I do understand the backlash. I do understand people like kind of wanting to go up against that. I would say in terms of like rappers from his generation or like the years that he was active, there are a couple rappers that could compete with him. I definitely think Kanye could compete with him. I do think I do think Lil Wayne can compete with him. Eminem, I don't think he can really compete with him in the verses because I don't know if people know enough Eminem songs. But I think if Jay-Z would ever perform in the verses, it would be I think he would show the levels. Like I think there's too many like there's actually too many hits that like people kind of have forgotten about, too many features that people have forgotten about. But then like his B-side tracks, like all the B-side tracks of like I would go to a Jay-Z concert just to hear B-sides for like just all them album cuts that was like crazy hard. Like and Jay-Z got a lot of album cuts that like really cut through into the culture and he just has like a lot of transcendent bars. And I think people, if there's a performance element to it as well, even though Jay-Z's not a dancer or nothing like that, he has a command and presence on that mic, man. He's truly an MC. And so like he would definitely shut some stuff down. So like so going back, like my son don't really, he not really into it. So when he tells me that he likes R&B, I'm like that feels good because I know, granted, there's some R&B that's a little bit too vulgar for kids, but I would say the artists that I listen to it's good content, it's good stuff. And when he tells me that he likes R&B, and then because I was playing some like blast and stuff like that recently, like some stuff from last year. And then he's like singing. I'm hearing him. I'm like he in my passenger seat. I hear him singing the songs, and then that's when he was telling me. He was like, "Yeah, Dad, I like R&B." And then he's telling me who his favorite singers are, and he said it's Leon Thomas, and he says Blast, and like that's what I be playing, and like I don't have sometimes I be wanting to entertain my kid. Sometimes it's like they gonna listen to whatever they gonna listen to, and that's kind of how I've been a little bit like with the R&B stuff. I'll play the same stuff, or I play my jams, and like not even understanding or realizing that he's like soaking that in and he's enjoying it as well. And I think it's just cool. I think it's cool for him to tell me that Leon Thomas and Blast are like two of his favorite artists. You know what I mean? And because he could, it's just dope to me. It's dope to me. It's just like a proud like dad moment because I'm not. Cause I would hate if he told me like his favorite artist was like Juice World or no offense to Juice World, rest in peace, or just somebody like that, or like even like I like a little bit of Kodak. If he told me Kodak Black was his favorite artist, or like Young Boy or something like that, I would be a little bit like a little disappointed. I'd be like, damn, bro, like I really ain't raised this boy to have no soul, man, like to have no, so. Um, but yeah, man, that Leon Thomas, that folks is fire, man. The way you are, the opening track, My Muse is crazy. 5 more minutes. He got some joints on there, man. But it has you every time I listen to Leon Thomas, I start to dive back into like he don't have a long career, but some of his older stuff, and yeah, this boy is like. It's his style is different. It's like it's very jazzy because it's like when you listen to a Leon Thomas, you don't know what he's gonna do, especially if you never heard the song. You don't really know where he's gonna go because he doesn't really stay in like these like standard melodies and these standard pockets. Like he is it feels very jazz like because he's like scatting and it's not really scatting, but like he'll do like random runs and his melodies are a little bit all over the place, but it's very entertaining. It's very good. Um, it's very performable because I have seen him live. It is very performable stuff, and it almost makes you feel like yeah he's going in there kind of like because he could play guitar and stuff like that. Like he's almost playing the instruments while he's recording, or like almost like his albums be like almost like live recordings of almost performances. Like instead of it just being, it don't sound like it's a full studio production in the sense of like it doesn't feel so robotic and perfect. There's a lot of imperfections in his music that kind of just make it come together. Like it gives it a nice tone. It gives it a nice like depth to his music. So, but that's dope that my son told me that. So, all right, but let's get started. Let's get started with the real topics for what we're talking about today. And the first thing I wanted to talk about was Southwest, man. Southwest is fed up with y'all. Southwest is fed up with y'all. And I told y'all, man, after I had my couple flight experiences this summer, I ain't saying I would never fly Southwest again, but like because my experiences of flying, there's several times that I've flown, even as a teenager up until now, have always been Southwest. Always been Southwest. Like I'm like kind of conditioned to like, all right, loving that company. I mean, the fact that I guess you don't get to pick a seat, whatever. The fact that it's like kind of first come first serve. The fact that you get to bring a bag and check a bag for free and stuff like that. But we already talked about in the summer how they were kind of getting rid of some of that type of stuff. But they're getting rid of another policy, and I think this is kind of good, whatever. So Southwest ends their wheelchair first boarding after years of alleged abuse. Plus, some flights reportedly had, it's no, it's not saying plus. It says some flights reportedly had 100 plus wheelchair requests just to board early. All right, so let me take a look here. It says, um, and this is on site. I like this channel sometimes. It says after years of people abusing wheelchair first boarding just to skip the line, the airline is ending the whole system on January 26th. Some flights were getting 100 plus wheelchair requests, and half the people were walking right off the plane with no help. Southwest said enough is enough. They're moving to assigned seating, which shuts the loophole down on their flights. But the airport hustle isn't disappearing. A lot of airports still let wheelchair assistants cut TSA check-in lines and immigration. Some international flights see 90 to 120 people trying it. So yeah, Southwest is tired. The VIP for free trick still might still work in other places, but not on their planes anymore. Yeah, that was an annoying kind of thing, right? Because everybody have like they have like groups of when you're kind of called for Southwest. And yeah, when I went to Mexico, I was in the back of the plane, bro. I was like one of the last people to sit down. And it's based off of like you checking in, but also what I'm finding is not even that. Like it's not even the fact that when you check in, it's because people were registering themselves as being handicapped. And so like, yeah, they give those people the first priority. Now, a lot of different flights, a lot of different airlines, they do have different like boarding numbers and boarding systems and things like that. And like handicap is a part of it, whatever, but I don't think it's not necessarily free, right? Just like because like I flew American Airlines and like you do get to pick a seat, but like you got to pay extra for that. So like it is a little bit, but it was so nice being able to pick a seat and it's based on when you book your flight sooner than later, you're picking a good seat, and then like it's just nice when even when people because what happens is it don't matter even when you board, like your seat is your seat. And the first time I experienced that, and even though I boarded a little bit later, um, like yeah, these people had to get the fuck up out my seat. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it was no questions about it, and it felt good because it was like, yeah, like stop playing with me. Like it don't matter when I boarded, because that's what it feels like. And yeah, Southwest is like it's when your seat is based on the quality of your seat is based on when you board. So that's why people was doing that, and it's kind of crazy that like you don't have to prove certain things. I know people that do stuff like that even at amusement parks. They'll claim they have something wrong with them and they getting all these perks. And I don't know, for some reason with good conscience I can't do that. I can't lie about an ailment. Like I ain't gonna lie, I might take a day off work or something like that. But when it's like truly like inconveniencing other people, I can't sit there and say like something is wrong with me just to get a little bit of a benefit or something, right? So, but yeah, so Southwest is not playing with y'all. I'm trying to think. Nah, I don't say nothing else. They don't say nothing else there. So we'll see, man. Southwest is gonna maybe it'll be I think people avoided Southwest because of those like some of those like free perks. So I think it's gonna turn into like it's gonna be like a regular airline, and then I think sometimes when you do have amenities like that, or you do get a certain class of people that want to fly with you, but also you can't elevate truly. You know what I mean? Like there is no such thing as first class. Like I think if Southwest does, even if they are nickel and diamond people for these things, they might be able to like move up and like it might have like flights with first class and all that type of stuff. So we'll see how that plays out. We'll see how it plays out. But like, yeah, they fed up with y'all. They fed up with y'all. All right. This is something I wanted to talk about a little bit. And actually, there's two. I thought I was gonna talk about two government loan programs that they were gonna propose or implement. And I ended up finding out that one of them was fake. And thank goodness. So I didn't have to like do too much research on that. But have y'all heard that they are throwing out the idea of having 50-year home loans, so 50-year mortgages, right? And so that got a lot of people talking. That got a lot of people talking, a lot of people talking, a lot of people upset. There are some people that are saying like it's not that much of a difference. What's the difference between a 30 year and a 50 year? We talking about 20 years is a generation, bro. We're like, what do you mean? What's the difference? Like that's a silly thing to say. Like, what's the difference? Like 2 decades, bro. Like, you know what I mean? So, it came out the other week that the government was shooting around the idea of the 50-year mortgage. Federal Housing Finance Agency Director Bill Polt came up with the idea, and later this was endorsed by our president on True Social. And so there are some with anything, there are and there can be pros to certain things like this. So, and we'll talk about the pros first, but I'm gonna tell you now, I think this is kind of crazy. So I'm a really hone in on the cons. But the pros is that it can give more people access to home ownership, right? So a lot of times that's a barrier, like price is a barrier. And I don't know. I think that, yeah, when you do have a large mortgage like that, like most likely your monthly payment is like a little bit lower, so that makes it a little bit more affordable. But I don't know. It just seems crazy. The other pro is that it does, yeah, and I kind of said it. It gives people lower mortgage payments. So like it does create that sense of access, especially when you start breaking down the numbers of mortgages and what your monthly payment's gonna be, and then escrow and figuring out like how the taxes work and like what the property value, like all that type of stuff. Like all that stuff is complicated, right? And a lot of times people are a little discouraged because they go into that process and they really find out that they can't afford stuff. Sometimes people are pleasantly surprised and find out they can, right? So a 30-year mortgage is already a long time for a lot of people. Um, but and yeah, if the payment is like a lot more than what they're paying in rent, some people will just take the sacrifice and say like, well, home ownership just is not for me yet. I'll continue to rent. So having a 50-year mortgage, spreading that big payment out longer, it does bring down that low monthly payment. So then people feel like, no, I can afford this. I can afford this. But it's just because they're almost overzealous with the fact and the obsession of wanting to own a home, but not realizing how bad having something for 50 years, or having that kind of term, how daunting and crazy that could be, right? So the cons. So this is what's bad about this proposal is that you would end up paying way more interest over the course of the home loan. So Realtor.com senior economist Joel Berner says on average, the total interest paid on a loan would rise by 86%, right? So that's average on average, right? So, and I've seen some numbers, right? Like on like for example, on let's say like a $300,000 home, whatever, and just say if you were paying over the course of the loan, you're paying however much in interest total. Like maybe you pay extra like 200,000, right, in interest. Well, a lot of times with these what they was breaking down the math with the 50-year mortgage, you're because your principal is never going down, so your interest is based on what your principal balance is left, right? So you're gonna have a higher principal balance for a longer period of time. So like that means your interest payments are gonna be higher. And so like they I seen a figure where like yeah, just say with that $300,000 home, and just say you pay $200,000 in interest, whatever. Well, with the 50-year mortgage, that interest will be even more. Like the interest that you pay alone is more than what the house is worth, right? So that's another con. The con is the fact that like these large loans can put you underwater. More debt, just more debt in general, right? Like more debt for a longer period of time. And it's the fact that like you're literally what we're doing is basically you're just renting from the bank. And a lot of times people argue and they'll say like, oh, that's all home ownership is nowadays. That's all having a mortgage is. It's like you're renting from the bank. This would truly feel like that because if I'm paying more in interest than what my principal is, then yeah, it's not even in my benefit at all. Too long of a payment, 250 years. So on average, and this is where people will kind of say like it's not a pro, but this is where they'll say this is not really a con. But like it says on average, people like I think now the average is probably like 12 years people stay in a home. But I think in the past the average was like 7 years. And so what people are saying where they're saying it's not that big of a deal, they're like nobody actually stays um or nobody keeps a loan for as long as it is. Even the 30-year mortgages, they're saying like nobody actually stays on those. And then basically people refinance, people sell the home, and then like that mortgage kind of goes away. But I think what this would do though in a 50-year, because there are people that stay in those homes for 30 years, right? And then they pass those homes down. In a 50-year mortgage, right, you would actually see less full home ownership. You would see a lot less full ownership of homes, right? Because a lot of people would not make it the whole way. What you would see is you would see people like kind of passing down mortgages instead of passing down a home to their family. They're passing down mortgages to their family, and it just puts people in a bad situation financially. And like yeah, you're not gonna see as much of a transfer of ownership if people have that option. Um, they do think that people would take that option though, and there will be desperate people that take the option, but like a 50-year mortgage just seems kind of predatory because it almost feels like you know that these people are not going to live that whole time. You know that these people, after they're paying for so many years, they're realizing, especially if they do go underwater, where like the amount you pay going underwater is when the value of your home goes down, but like what you paid in it is like way more. Or yeah, what your principal is when and what you're paying for it is more than what it's currently worth. Well, that would with a 50-year mortgage, it kind of like would almost double or triple that chances of it going underwater. Um, so I don't know. I don't think it's a good plan. I think it's like it sounds good in theory, but the housing crisis partly it is affordability, but it's availability as well. So I think what brings down affordability is if availability is able to go up. If we have more houses for people to live in, if there's a bigger market, then people can't just necessarily, you're gonna people get people because what's happening is like people learned, especially after COVID and stuff like that, people have learned to like game the system a little bit. So like, yeah, people are using private equity firms to like kind of buy up a lot of property, and then they're paying, they're renting it out top dollar or even selling stuff top dollar. But that's what we're having. Like people are really trying to be like independent entrepreneurs off of the backs of other people as opposed to like people aren't in the business of building homes. They're in the business of buying and flipping homes. And that's a totally different thing. And that's not necessarily solving our problem. That's just making individuals rich, but it's not helping solve the crisis. So again, 50-year mortgage is bad. The other one I was going to talk about, but I don't need to get into it. They was I fell for it. I fell for it. Because it did look kind of legit. But it was they were saying something about throwing around the idea of a 15-year car loan. And it was like, what? A 15-year car loan now? That's something like more people, even though 50 years, like most people, like you can't guarantee you're gonna live 50 years, bro. Like you cannot guarantee you got 5 more decades on this planet. You know what I'm saying? Um, you can't guarantee any years for real, but 5 decades is wicked. But a 15-year car loan, it's like nobody even like I don't know anybody that's had. I don't know. I can probably count on, one hand how many people I've known that have had the same car for 15 years. And so like yes, it would create increase the access, but that would seem predatory to me because it's like, yeah, you know that people are gonna want a new car. You know that people are gonna go under on their car. They're gonna total whatever it is and then have to owe. But I don't need to get into all that because that's not even real. That's not even happening. So I'll leave that alone. But like, if anybody would say that's a great idea, they are smoking. They're smoking. Right. All right, let's move on. Let's move on to another topic. This has to do with this second screen content that we're going to talk about here. So now, right, if you're watching TV, right, you might notice that you might feel like the quality of TV is not as great as it was, or TV shows aren't as good as they used to be. You might even feel like movies aren't as good as they used to be. A lot of time people have an issue with when it comes to movies in particular is that they feel like this is no originality. That might be the case with TV, but I would say that technology has, like, just like everything else, has really hindered our brains, right? It's really changed the makeup in which we operate certain things, right? So like what I'm talking about is just like our attention spans, right? So, um, this why, this is from a page called Psychology Focus, but it says, the new goal of television isn't immersion. So before, when we used to watch TV, it was like to feel fully immersed into the experience and to like be focused into that show. That's where binge watching comes into place. You know what I'm saying? Like it's all right. Um, but that's not the goal anymore. The goal now is coexistence with your phone, right? So now they realize that, and we're all guilty of it, right? You're watching something and you end up looking down, scrolling a little bit, looking at something, commenting on something, and you look up and you don't even know what's going on in the TV show. So now TV shows and TV makers, show makers, they're trying to make shows in which your phone is maybe a part of the experience, so to speak, right? And we've seen different examples of it, but like think about like just regular dramas and things like that where like they're trying to implement this. So the new goal of television is an immersion, is coexistence with your phone. Here's how second screen production normalize half presence as entertainment. All right, so it goes into a couple slides. So it says recently, I saw Jamila Jamil discuss how TV is now produced so that we can scroll at the same time. She's right. Entertainment isn't designed to pull you in anymore. It's designed to keep you company while you disconnect. All right. The industry calls it second screen viewing. It means every show must hold attention while competing with your phone. That tension shapes how the stories are written, lit, and even paced. Scenes are shorter, dialogue repeats key points, visuals are louder. It's not just lazy writing, it's adaptation to our distracted brain. So yeah, so I do, because I'm a buff, I'm a TV buff, right? And I do complain about the writing of some TV shows all the time now. And I'm like, yeah, this show sucks, man. That writing is whack. And what I'm seeing is that, like, oh no, they might be writing things in a way on purpose now, right? It's not even, I want to say it's not intentional. It's definitely intentional, but it's like it's not because the skill is lacking. It's because again they've adapted. They're trying a new way to do things. It says our attention span didn't just shrink; it's fragmented. The nervous system learned to monitor multiple streams at once and confuse stimulation with engagement. All right. Um, Scrolling releases fast dopamine bursts. Television responds by mimicking that rhythm, quick edits, emotional spikes, instant rewards. The result is constant novelty without depth. All right. So yeah, so we getting that enjoyment, but we not getting like deep stories no more. Depth used to come from sustained focus. That's why like you watch Game of Thrones, you cannot watch that without the subtitles for real. You don't even want to walk away from the screen. Like that's one of those shows that I definitely put my phone down. Like there are certain shows that I don't even pick up my phone to watch anymore. Um the kind you enter when your mind softens around a story. That's what second screen content quietly removes. When you split your attention, your brain can't fully encode what you're watching. That's why the show ends and you barely remember it. Half presence gives the illusion of rest, but it's not restorative. Your body stays alert while your mind numbs. It feels like escape, but it's low grade stress. That's kind of crazy. So saying like like when you're half present into watching something and you're scrolling down, like it's basically saying that like the content is like it makes you feel like you are enjoying yourself and you're chilling, but like you're still very alert, whatever, and like it's actually very stressful what you're doing, right? And I ain't gonna lie, like I do some wild stuff. Like there's times where I'm playing the game and then I'll have like a YouTube video playing in the background, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Cause it's like I always feel like I don't have enough time to do both things and like I'm literally on two screens at once. Um or like I've edited an episode while I'm playing the video game, right? So and basically more so like started my editing process, like cutting it up. Like so yeah, whenever I edit I used to watch it one time through the whole way. I don't do that no more. I've been stopped doing that. So what I do is like I just try to cut for segments, right? So I try to cut for content. So like this will be a segment right now where I'm talking about this like second screen viewing. This is a segment and but like I can like play my game and then if I have it in my headphones, I'm listening and then I'll like stop and I'll pause and then I'll be like, all right, yep, this is a new topic now. And so I do it for that. And then once I have it cut up, then I can kind of go back and like add images. I could even edit deeper. I also do that too when I am like playing the game and editing. I am listening for mistakes, like any type of like voice drops, any technical difficulties. Sometimes the screen will get weird. Sometimes I might hit the mic or something like that. Sometimes if I cough or sneeze or something like that, if I make like a weird loud noise, something happens, something above me. I'm in the basement, so something above me bangs and you can hear it. I stop and I try to get that type of stuff out, whatever. But I can kind of do that, but I'm not realizing it. Like I'm hurting myself. I'm hurting myself, right? Let me keep going through this. It says true rest comes when the mind and body sync. When one experience, not 10, fills your senses. That's the state modern entertainment rarely invites. All right. So yeah, rarely are you ever watching something and you're fully into it. Like you are looking at your phone, at least when the ads come up, when the commercials come up, you're looking at it, or when you perceive that it might be some downtime in the plot, like oh, all right, whatever. Then you'll kind of go on your phone. Second screen habits also affect emotion. When stories move too fast, your nervous system can't compete. All right, let me read this again. It says second screen habits also affect emotion. When stories move too fast, your nervous system can't complete emotional cycles. You start feeling stimulation instead of sentiment. The more content we consume this way, the harder it becomes to tolerate stillness. Silence feels awkward, calm feels empty. So, yeah, that's kind of interesting. Like, just even, I know they're talking about like stories on TV, but think about like the stories that you see on your social media, whatever, and like how quick stuff is, like how quick, like and like yeah, you might be elated by something, and then you're kind of like, then the next thing is like something crazy and wild, then something else is like something sad, and like And like what it's saying is that like we're not even when we're even watching content like that, like on on our phones, watching like social media stories, like we're not even allowing ourselves to fully feel things, right? And like so we're just constantly, you know, and that's why we pick and choose, and that's why like sometimes we'll even scroll past certain people because it's like because we know certain people that create content or certain people that post, they have a certain aesthetic, and like it's like, nope, that's not my vibe right now. I'm skipping over your story. I'm skipping over your story. But it's weird. It's kind of weird. But this idea that like silence starts to feel awkward. Like, and I do know a lot of people that are like that nowadays too. Like, they need something in the background. They need something in the background, and so they'll have a show that they don't even really watch. They'll just kind of put it in the background because we're not used to being in silence anymore. I said, but the brain is adaptable. So there's some hope. There's some hope here. Attention can be retrained. Even a few minutes of single screen focus each night begins rebuilding capacity for sustained awareness. Try watching something without your phone nearby. Notice the discomfort. That unease isn't boredom, it's withdrawal from fragmented attention. Dang. I don't know. Do I feel discomfort? I guess at times I do. I don't use the word. I ain't gonna lie. I don't use the word boredom. Like I do not use that word. I tell people all the time like I ain't never bored for real. Like if I'm staying in the house instead of going out or something like that, I ain't mad about that. Like I got something to do. I got something to watch. I got something I could read. I got something I could listen to. I don't be saying that I'm bored. Like it's very rare. It's very rare that I'm like mopey and like, oh, I'm bored. So like, no, if I am, I kind of know that my attention might be fragmented, but like, if I'm looking at my phone, it's not because the show is boring me. It is probably because I've adapted to this, right? So it says, as you retrain focus, emotional depth returns. So if you take your time, this depth for emotion gets deeper and it comes back. You start noticing subtle details, tone, rhythm, silence. The nervous system begins to slow with the story. This isn't about rejecting technology, it's about reclaiming choice to decide when you want stimulation and when you want presence. Entertainment can be art again, not reduced to just some background noise, but it starts with changing how we watch, not just what we watch. Change begins when you notice the difference between distraction and depth. That awareness is how you begin to rest while being awake again. Okay, that's deep. That's deep. Whatever. So what they said was because then I looked it up. I was like, well, what's an example of a second screen show, whatever. So there's two, it's twofold, right? It shows that in which like you're allowed to like they make them and they write them in a way to where it doesn't harm you to like look away at the screen like because you can kind of do certain things. So shows like that would include like they call them procedurals, which are like the Law and Order, like the crime dramas and stuff like that, like especially the ones that are like in courts and stuff like that, or like yeah, procedurals like Law and Order is like the crime, the police station, and then the courtroom. And like they say, the way they make those because they do repeat the facts and like they kind of it's a recurring thing, and you kind of know there's a little bit of a buildup, but there's not too much of a twist that you can't see already see coming. So they said those are shows that are easy, but like second screen viewing is literally kind of what it means there. Like it's like I said, it's allowing you to be on your second screen. So any show that has like online like interactivity, right? So they pointed out to like certain movies. I guess like there's a version of Prometheus where like you could use your phone to like track something that's going on the screen. Any of those like competition shows in which you have to vote for a winner, right? Those are considered second screen content. um I think The Walking Dead had a season or two where there was like interactive, or there's like games that are associated with it. Yeah, anything where, like I said, there's any type of voting involved. If there's anything where shows they have you like you'll notice that there's like famous people from the show like live tweeting at the same time. That'll be an example of it. And I would actually say like football, like any sports is naturally second screen entertainment. Like yeah, you will miss a play or two, but that's why they constantly have replays throughout. But also like they make it with all the like the commercial breaks and the official timeouts and stuff like that. Because they want you betting on your phone. They want you playing fantasy basketball or fantasy sports on your phone. So like sports already lends itself to second screen viewing. But it's weird because if you would go to a game though, you're not on your phone though. You know what I'm saying? Like you are totally focused. Like I've experienced that because I've been to quite a few football games, more so high school basketball games. I do not be on my phone. One, I don't be wanting everybody, you're in close quarters, so like people are looking over your shoulder, seeing what you're, doing whatever. But I'm fully immersed in those instances, and I feel good. Like, yeah, I feel good. I think that's why people like we feel good at concerts a lot of times. Like, yes, there is, you do record like some of the content on at a concert, but like you're not you ain't texting nobody, tweeting nobody at a concert for like you really enjoying that experience. So like that's why people find like live entertainment to be very cathartic because they get to that's one thing that they get to fully immerse themselves into. And but when they're at home, a lot of people when they're at home, they don't get that luxury. All right. That's why people do encourage like reading and stuff like that because like reading it almost forces you to be like, you know, single content or like, have sustained focus. Um Ain't nothing wrong with audiobook either, but like if you're people that listen to music and read, I don't know how they do that. Like that's to me that's impossible, but to each its own, to each its own. So yeah, that's what second screen viewing is. But like again, we already watch a lot of shows that kind of have that format, right, so to speak. All right, so let's move on. Let's move on. Um, I didn't even have this as a topic fully, but yo, y'all heard about man, the boy Rory from Rory Mall, how they found his racist tweets, bro. Like his man, this boy got some wild stuff, man. Um, and real quick, I'm just gonna they don't have a video of it, so I might have to display this. Actually, yeah, let's share the screen real quick. Let's share the screen. And I'm gonna talk about this motherfucker right here. It's kind of crazy, like when we think about it. All right, so it says Rory from the Rory Mall podcast is facing backlash over resurfaced racist tweets. Okay, so here it says, so the original tweet was, "Do your black ass mother and grandmother know you don't like black women?" And then it just said, "Nope." This is another one that says, "Y'all love black women." Nah. Another one said, "I never seen a good looking black woman," and then we retweeted that. So I don't know if he's trolling. I haven't heard his response yet. I'm kind of wondering what he's gonna say about it. Here, this is another series, and this is a lot of this stuff is from like 2012. Rory is like 35 years old, so 2012, even though it was 13 years ago, if he's 35, he's still an adult, man. 22-year-old. Is he a dumb adult? Probably, but like he's still an adult. So we can't coddle him here. It says every black woman has either wanted to, thought about, or actually effed a white guy. Of course, he retweeted that. This one is the one that's probably got him the most backlash. It says so the original tweet was son, they are way worse baby names than I guess it's saying there are way worse baby names than Blue Ivy. And he says, yeah, like that hood rat named Beyonce. So oh my God, that's okay. Oh, this is all right. So we are gonna play this audio. We are gonna play this. I guess this is like him arguing about it. So this might be his response. But I did want to speak on that where he said that. Now I've listened to enough Rory, even just on Joe Budden's podcast, and like he can be sarcastic, and like there is like a with podcasters in general, there is like a snarkiness to their humor. It's like sometimes it's those things that only you understand or only you get if you're like a regular listener, and because you understand the person's intimate thoughts and the flow of their of their speech patterns and stuff like that, and like what their sense of humor. And so like some of it could be that, but like this is before he was making content, so this is like him, this was him. But one thing I wanted to say about that, right, was, and he might have been a snarky as 22-year-old, but it's crazy how if people say that her name is a hood rat name, because a lot of people don't know this, and like I learned this on social media, and I fact checked it myself, right? But people don't know that Beyonce is actually Tina Knowles, like the mom. That is her maiden name. Her maiden name is Tina Beyonce, right? So like so Beyonce is actually walking around with like three last names. Her name is Beyonce, which is a last name, Knowles Carter, right? So like three last names. I mean, I don't know what her middle name is. I mean, some people might know that. I know. I got a person in the Beehive that would know that information, right? But a lot of people don't realize that that was her mom's maiden name. So her mom named her after, like she wanted to like keep her maiden name alive, and she named her daughter after that. So like it has like it has like a cultural like roots to it, whatever, but it's not it's actually not some like made up hood name. It's somebody's, it's a surname, it's somebody's actual name. So if you call Beyonce, if you say that name is hood rat, or if it's like ghetto, whatever, you coming at somebody's whole family line, because that's a last name. It's not even originally supposed to be a first name. So it's kind of interesting that Rory would say this, but back in 2012, he probably didn't know this. But let's see. I think there's some arguing going on, but it looks like on Spaces, people were getting into this topic. So let's hear what they got to say. It's not so on that post in particular. No one is He's not taking it back. He's not necessarily apologizing, but based on the tone of that argument, and actually, I didn't even share that sound with y'all, so y'all didn't even get to hear that. But basically, in this space, whatever, somebody's like kind of like cussing him out, and he's saying that the retweets were fake. Now, and the guy who's arguing with him saying is like, "Oh, I'm old enough to know how retweets work." Now, there is something this was controversial about Twitter back in the day. I've been on Twitter since 2011. So there was a time when you hit retweet, instead of it making a separate post, right, it would almost be like a continuation of the first person's post, and like you literally could edit everything that came like with their name, like you could edit anything that they said, and be like, what did you just say this? But however, this was the stuff that he was writing. It wasn't stuff that other people were writing. This is stuff that he was writing. So I don't know if what it seems like is Rory did not own up to this. Maybe we'll have an update for you in another episode, because I haven't heard anything else from it. When I seen that, I was like, oh shit, I gotta talk about that, and then I kind of forgot about it. But that's wild, man. That's wild. But it's just kind of crazy, man. And it's like it's funny because nowadays, bro, when we talk about like music and stuff like that, and like if you say like black music, like rap is black for black people or black, there's a lot of white people that get offended by that type of stuff, and they be like, "Well, what do you mean? What do you mean? Like it's for everybody, you know what I mean?" Or like certain slang and stuff like that, like our terminology, like it's like there is no such thing as speaking white, like if you're talking about like being proper, right? Like if you're talking about that, like there's no such thing as speaking white, but like there is a way that black people speak, there is a way that white people speak. And so certain words, now that the internet is like it's made the world smaller, people don't realize it's made the world smaller. Everybody is sharing the same vernacular nowadays, and then so like other groups be taking like ownership, or they feel entitled to our spaces when they shouldn't feel entitled to our spaces. And like so Rory is somebody that the culture, or members of the culture, various members, and it's not necessarily everybody, but various members of the culture have let him in. And now like I can see him being the type that feels like he's entitled to this space because he's listened to rap music all his life. Like, bro, no. If you ain't gonna respect the culture, if you ain't gonna be truly for us, if you gonna be like you, this ain't no space to make sarcastic, snarky jokes, bro. Like this ain't. We don't do that, bro. We don't. Nah, nah. And if you have black friends that allow you to make some type of jokes, that has to be on like a one-to-one basis. That ain't something that you could share and be open with publicly to everybody, to the masses. Like we don't play that shit, bro. So we're gonna see where this kind of plays out. But um, yeah, I'm interested. But let's move on. Let's move on. All right, let me go to my next thing. Oh, real quick. All right, so I did want to talk about Reasonable Doubt. So Reasonable Doubt, season three is been out since September. I don't know. I ain't get the notification. I ain't getting no update. I saw a couple of people talking about it, and then I think one day I looked and I said, "What?" Like, and I seen it was out since September. I said, "What?" So, no, Reasonable Doubt is a dope show. I don't really have a full review of it, because I haven't finished watching, but um, it's kind of like this show is kind of like on some like How to Get Away with Murder type stuff for real. You have like this black lawyer who is like amazing at her job, but like has like some very unconventional methods into way that she does things. She kind of reminds you of Annalise Keating. You know, what I mean, a lot more attractive. And then like more like black, I would say. Like, and it's crazy because I want to say like, um, dang, who was the lady for on How to Get Away with Murder? What's her name? Um, I'm not coming at her. How to Get Away with Murder? How to Get Away with Murder? To get away. I'm trying to see some. What was her name? The main person? Oh, Viola Davis. I'm not coming at Viola Davis and talk, but like she was a whitewashed character, man. Like she was with a white man. She like didn't really have kids and so like it was like her character was not like they really made that like she like they could have put a white woman in that role and it would have been the same show for like it did like her being black was not really a factor in that show. um and I guess, yeah, I mean, and it's hard to say that because like I think Shonda Rhimes was part of that, but like they really made her like it wasn't like necessarily like How to Get Away with Murder was for everybody. It wasn't for black people. Reasonable Doubt is for black people. You know what I'm saying? Like it can be for everybody, but like you're gonna have to know the references, you're gonna have to know the language. There's nothing to adapt to when you watch How to Get Away with Murder, but that's why Reasonable Doubt feels good because it's black content, but it's good quality content. It feels like it's for us. It's by us. Even when you listen to the soundtrack, it's one of the like it's like up there with like Insecure soundtrack. Like Insecure used to have crazy songs playing, and you'd be like, "Oh, snap bangers!" They would break new songs and stuff like that. This show is more so playing like stuff that we know, but like right on time. All the stuff that they be playing be right on time. Like it's like whoever's scoring this show musically is like it's crazy. Like, but but yeah, like so this like in every season it's always like they have good twists on Reasonable Doubt. Some of them are a little bit ridiculous, but what we're dealing with in season three is this like really famous guy. It's almost like I ain't gonna lie, it feels like some Jonathan Majors type stuff, but like with a darker what is Jonathan Majors situation mixed with Gone Girl. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. But the person is actually dead, supposedly, right? Supposedly this person is dead. And it has to do with this like actor and he's dating this like white woman and he credits this white woman to being like the change in his life and things like that. Like she saved his life. And then they have like an argument, they have a domestic dispute, and then she winds up dead or they find her body. And now he's being accused of it, but then like it's crazy because like there's like his family is kind of involved into his career, so like they've had an influence in like certain things like they wanted to kind of control like who he was dating in the relationships, and obviously they didn't approve of this woman because of what she stood for and like who she is. But then like there's just so many twists and crazy. It's so crazy. This one is season two is amazing too. Like season one was really good. It was a good opener, but season two was like chef's kiss because of like what the conflict was, and you really didn't know where it was going. This season has been really good as well, but I've been calling out a lot of the plot twists. I've been calling them out, and I've been right. I've been right with it. And like, it's not. I wouldn't say it's predictable, but like, I think I've seen enough of these shows to where it's like it allows me to make like these bold guesses, and I'll be right, bro. I'll be right. So, check that out, man. If you have not, I'll maybe give you a full review. I would say though, right now, like it's the show is a 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10 for like 8 out of 10 at the worst. So it's definitely something to watch. I seen somebody that I know on Facebook that was talking about like, oh, is it really that good, or y'all just gassing it? No, it's been that good. Like the fact that you late, you need to catch up, right? So that's that. That's all I'll talk about with reasonable doubt. We're going to talk about Shedeur Sanders' debut, and then we're going to wrap it up with this Jae Millz topic, all right? So Shedeur Sanders, all right, man. So he made his first NFL debut this past Sunday against the Baltimore Ravens, and in relief of Dylan Gabriel, who got hurt in that game due to a concussion. When Shedeur gets into that game, it is 16-10 Browns, right? Well, they end up losing that game 23-16. So the Ravens were able to put up pretty much like two touchdowns in the course of that time to end up winning that game. I don't even think they actually scored two touchdowns. I think it was like two field goals and a touchdown. And I tuned in because I seen like it was on, it was one of the locally broadcasted, games. So I tuned in, like I'm just like kind of scrolling, and I think it was on my fantasy football app, and I seen that he was in the game, and I said, "What?" So I turned it there. I thought like maybe they were up or a lot or something, whatever. Well, it looks like or I didn't know if he like got the start, and I ended up finding out that like Dylan Gabriel, the other rookie, he had a concussion. So I'm watching a few plays, and the few plays that I watched, it ain't like he took a lot of plays, but bro, the few plays that I seen Shedeur Sanders, he was ass, my dude. Like he was ass. Like it was like the first pat. Like when I tuned in, he had two completions for like maybe like 13 or 16 yards, and then it was like, yo, the first snap I seen him actually take, pick, interception, and I was like, oh shit, bro. Like this is bad, whatever. But yeah, man. So he went into that game. Um, and so he's basically in for like the end of the third into the fourth quarter, or like halfway through the third quarter, fourth quarter. So this is his stat line, right? It's 4 for 16. So that's a 25% completion percentage. 47 yards passing, no touchdowns, one interception. He did get two first downs. Ooh, I forgot that they keep track of that. He did get sacked twice. I thought he got sacked. I ain't gonna lie. I thought he got sacked more than that, whatever. But it looked like every play he was like running for his life. Now, what I noticed is that, like, I ain't gonna, this is something that we do, and I get it. I get why we do it is because there's a history of like black quarterbacks not getting their just due. It's a history of black NFL players, even sometimes coaches, not being able to develop right fully. And we know that there's a lot of controversy with him being picked. People, he was touted supposed to be the first round pick. He fell all the way down to the fourth round. The Browns, they already drafted a rookie quarterback, and they drafted him with the next pick in the next round. So as a fourth round pick, you are probably supposed to be groomed to play, right? Like, but it's no guarantee. The Browns had like they started the season with five quarterbacks that included Shedeur Sanders. Obviously, people got hurt, people got traded away. They released some people, and to start the season, Shedeur was like the third string. He ended up being moved to like the second string by when Joe Flacco got traded. But it really seemed like they had no plans on playing Shedeur Sanders. Now, when I was watching the broadcast, they were talking about how like the Browns have implemented this new system where they have like extra sessions for guys to get developed and after practice and then they were like, yo, I never heard of nothing like the announcers, the commentators, they're like, yo, this is dope that they do this or whatever. So it does feel like or seem like they're making certain measures to try to develop him and try to make him a decent starting quarterback. However, when he goes into that game, he looked totally unprepared. It is hard to come into a game cold, but you do always have to be ready. It is hard to be successful against a good defense. Um, but a lot of time now people are like they're digging into things. They're like, "Whoa, yo, he they never gave him no first team reps." And like, "Nah, bro, this is not fair. This is not fair." Like, like we're talking about a lot of unfairness. However, there's a lot of quarterbacks that can, sometimes like a splash player like that, like you would think like, all right, man, you can make a couple plays. I did see him make a nice running play, and it looked like it looked like he had some speed to him. But then when I seen people commenting, I guess at the aftermath, they said he looked slow. And so I'm like, yeah, see, you probably watched a couple more plays than me, but like he didn't look like a pro quarterback. He like in his first little debut, he just did not look like a pro quarterback. So, but I'm not gonna say the verdict is out on him yet. I'm not gonna say he's trash. He gets his first start this week, and who do they even play? I don't even know who they play. Who do the Ravens play? Let's see, Ravens schedule. Ravens schedule. Who do they play this week? All right, so this is a perf. Oh no, that's not even this week. That's not this week. Is that this week? The 23rd is this week. What's today's date? Oh, okay. Yes. So yes. What? I don't even know. I'm just looking at something. Um. So yeah, like he plays the Jets this week. So that's actually a perfect game to kind of like get into the game and try to get acclimated, trying to get better, right? You got a struggling Jets team. They don't have all those same weapons that they had on defense. Like there's no Sauce Gardner, there's no Quentin Williams. So like he has a chance to like actually, have a good decent start. I don't think Aaron Glenn ain't gonna take nothing easy on this boy. So what I mean, the Jets are gonna be competitive. They've been competitive all year, but like it's a good, they're not playing. I don't know. I guess like yeah, they're not playing the Eagles. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna lie. I don't even like the Eagles, but Eagles defense is kind of dominant. You know what I mean, playing against Jalen Carter and all them pass rushers, that would be a task. He's not going against the Rams. He's not even going against like Pittsburgh. You know what I'm saying? He did go against the Ravens, and that's even though the Ravens have struggled, yeah, still they always got guys on that defense that are no joke. But he looked like ass, bro. He looked like ass. I'm not gonna say he's ass, but we'll see. We'll see. And the full verdict can't be out necessarily off of one start, but I think you get a vibe of like his potential. This first little stint showed no potential. Like, and we got to keep it 100. That showed no potential at all. So we gonna see he gonna get first team reps. I actually want the excuses. Like if he's doing bad, I don't want there to be excuses for why he's bad. Because this week there was a lot of excuses. There's a lot of like, but all right, no. And I'm not hating on Shador, but like I just I don't like that. Like what I mean, we get mad when we make excuses for white quarterbacks. Like let's not make excuses for our black quarterbacks either. Like let's grade them on the same scale. All right. So that's that on that. And then last topic. Oh my God. I don't even know. Like, I'm gonna talk about this, but so this might not resonate with a lot of the audience. All right. So I used to talk a little bit more about battle rap in the earlier days of the podcast. Shout out to my boys at the All About the Hustle podcast. My man Millsy and my man Ty Nasdaq, right? Shout out to them, man, for their podcast. Yo, they impressed. I'm impressed by them, week in and week out, man. They are still getting upper echelon battle rappers. They're getting all the legends. Like this is like their fourth season, and they interview everybody, man. They interview everybody. Dope interviews. The reason I brought them up because we're gonna talk about Jae Millz. And I still have this screen recorded in my phone, bro. Like, cause I screen recorded it. But I had an opportunity to speak to my boy Jae Millz. Jae Millz is one of my favorite rappers ever. Like, he's one of my favorite rappers ever. And I'll get into that story a little bit. But I had a chance to be on there live, and I got to talk to Jae Millz for like a quick second, or whatever. And I was hyped. I've talked to, like, the only battle rapper I've ever interviewed was True Foe, and it was right after he beat my man Geechee Gotti. I've got to talk to Bill Collector. Yeah, I got to talk to Bill Collector, ask him a question. I like Bill as a rapper. His personality on the question, like, I felt like he wasn't. Sometimes he got like a dry personality. It kind of come off a little bit like smart ass, So I wasn't really. I mean, I would say in that one interaction wasn't. It wasn't negative, but it wasn't like with Mills. Mills was like very grateful, you know what I'm saying? Like, and everything. Just to be talking to anybody. So Jay Mills, man, fires back on two battle rap stars, and he steals the headlines of battle rap for 2025, right? So for those of you familiar with battle rap, you should know a battle rap legend like Jay Mills. He featured on the first two Smack DVDs and battled on that platform, as well as his infamous battle with Enes on Making the Band. Jay Mills for a time was my favorite underground rapper. So, like, and the first time I ever seen him was on Making the Band. And I was just intrigued. You know what I mean? Like, I'm fully into getting into rap. You know what I mean? We're seeing, like, that was the DVD era. So we're seeing all these different rappers on these DVDs. A lot of people just doing these acapella freestyles, sometimes rapping on a beat. Freestyle Friday on 106 in Park was a very prominent thing. So, like, rap was like, it was cooking. It was cooking at that time. And you kind of pick, you like some things that people were saying, and then you kind of pick a rapper, and you go with that rapper. And with Jay Mills, even though like everybody was like looking at the band and rooting for the band, it was something about him. I was like, nah, he's kind of nice, whatever. And I just decided to dig into his freestyles and his rapping, whatever. And I ain't gonna lie, no pause. Yeah, I mean, but I fell in love, yeah, bro. I was immersed into his rapping, and then I seen like the uncut version of his battle with Inez, and I realized like how he was snapping on this dude, right? So like I became a fan, and I was following him, and then when Smack DVDs came out, and then I see he's the first featured battle rapper on that joint, and then the second one came out, featured on there. He battled Murder Mook on there. And so like I was listening to all his mixtapes. I was following his career, and like he had a couple different opportunities to be signed. He came out with a single, like he was actually coming out with music. He came out with a single, No No No. Um I didn't know if that was necessarily a track that was going to necessarily like connect with everybody, but like yeah, he had music, bro. And then he was still just trying to tread water because his record deals didn't go the way that they should have went. And then finally, he was after several years of being in the underground, he was able to sign with Young Money, and then he never still was able to release that like full feature length album on that platform, but he was dropping quality mixtapes and projects, right? But no full featured album. So definitely had some group success, won a Grammy, got some. I don't know if they won a Grammy. I think they were nominated for Grammy, but he's definitely has a platinum plaque for, because if you remember Young Money, they had like a lot of like compilation music and stuff like that. So like he was on that album, got platinum plaques, getting paid, having steady income. Yeah, I mean Young Money was it, right? And then several years, then eventually he had to move on because the group essentially dissolved, right? So in the last several years, what we've been seeing is he's slowly been making his way back into battle rap, and he's had varying success. Like for example, his first battle back was against K-Shine. K-Shine smoked this dude, bro, and it really showed that like his rap style seemed a little bit outdated. I never thought he was weak, whatever, but I was just like, damn, I don't think he can compete. And this is me being fully into battle rap at this point again, like falling back in love with battle rap. and seeing him out there, and I'm like, damn, like yeah, it's levels, man. Like he's from an era where when you battle rap, you could just write like random bars and it could just be like gun bars about anything, whatever. Like all these like random punchlines and stuff like that. That's what battle rap kind of was back in the day. Now it's way more geared towards your opponent. It's way more meticulous. It's way more detailed. There's so much depth in it, right? And I'm like, dang, can he battle like that? Well, he's gotten back in the ring a couple times, and then he's gotten a little bit better. He's gotten a little bit better. He still he got smoked a couple times. He got Geechee guy smoked this nigga. Yeah, I mean, I said K-Shine. I think he had another loss here or there. And then but then he had a couple wins, right? I think he beat Big K, and I think Big K probably was like taking it easy. He beat another dude. He beat Cortez. He beat this other like young boy that I never heard of, whatever. You know what I'm saying? And so like again, he's been kind of in the mix. He had to battle Ness again. I would say he won that battle, but like some people argue that he didn't. Whatever, right? So him trying to make his comeback, a lot of people have been criticizing him. A lot of people in battle rap, like they'll give him his props a little bit, but then it's like a backhanded comment, like, all right, yo, keep that shit over there, man. Them young money days is over, yada yada yada, right? So there's a beef that started, right? And it's kind of along those same lines, right? Um, so it's a few weeks ago, and I think he was supposed to be on a podcast with DNA and Goodz, Goodz the Animal. And I think Jae Millz didn't show up for whatever reason. He didn't show up for whatever reason, right? And so like there's like a conversation about him, and then like they give him some props, whatever, but then it was like the backhanded remarks and stuff like that, saying stuff like, yeah, his stuff is outdated, his style is like he hasn't evolved, and just coming at him, whatever. So then Jae Millz took offense to that. It's like, yo, what the fuck? Like, how y'all coming at me and how y'all coming at my music career? When neither one of y'all has ever had a music career, whatever. So then it became like blogs back and forth, back and forth. And then, by the rap gods spoke to us and they say, you know what? Nah, fuck all this talking shit. Y'all need to rap, right? And so DNA is the one that jumped out first and was like, nah, we ain't talking no more, we rapping. And he started dropping some diss tracks, like music. He was dropping music tracks. Some of them was all right, whatever, whatever. Millz responded to each one of these joints, whatever. So, and actually, you can listen to them on Spotify. The ones against DNA, he has them on Spotify. And a true resurgence, bro. A true resurgence. He oh did he? Okay, I didn't know if he I didn't okay. So he dropped it like it's basically like an EP. So it came out November 6th, right? So yeah, we talking about 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago. Um, he started coming out with tracks, right? And every track got better than the last track. So the first track was called It's in My DNA. Second track was called Spin the Block. He killed him, bro. He killed him on Spin the Block. And then the last one was called Never Been Outside. And that one is a classic. And actually, I might actually play a little bit of that. Shout out to Jae Millz because he's not flagging people for using his content. So I'm actually gonna put it here. Hold on. So Jae Millz said we can share his content. He's not flagging nothing, right? Like he even said like people gonna eat off my content, and like he has no problem with that, whatever. All right, so let's all right, I'm gonna share the screen here real quick. I gotta share the sound as well. We're gonna play a little bit of this, and then we.
You are now listening to the sounds of the boy. Ain't never been outside.
No, never. It's Jae Millz. Check me out though. I'm petty for no reason. I guess it's just in my. She said he rap okay, but he ain't got my. And if you pussy, do some research on you. I never heard nobody say put on that. I tried to look up his resume in the streets, but. I tried to find some niggas that he moved some work with, but let's take them to church. Lord, please, I try to tell them they ain't stepping how I'm stepping. I'm a lesson, I'm a weapon, I'm a teacher, I'ma stretch them, I'ma shoot them. You gon' catch them bullets in your cerebellum. Fuck that corny shit you sellin', fuck that corny shit you reppin'. Nah, I had you up in in church, but it won't be for a blessing. You from Queens, only right I make you run like the Reverend. I'm from Harlem, only right I get daddy for I dead him. Thank the Lord for all the questions and the constant disrespecting. How the fuck we talking accolades when hey, why y'all send that boy my way when y'all know damn well
You never been outside.
Psychiatrist in the 4th grade, boy, I been bad. Brain evaluations, doctor taking notes, pen and pad. My success got you mad, tried it, now you getting dragged. I'm the post, you the draft, I'm the party, you the trash. You said ask about me, I asked, they said, word. Let me ash my blunt on this nigga real quick, man. Yo, you good, but I'm great, nigga. Oh, you doing good? Well, that's great, nigga. You like 20 years late, nigga. This ain't no race, nigga. Ain't no finish line. I'm home base, nigga. I'm first place, nigga. You just a plate, nigga. Talking my shit just in my leather gloves, or so I don't leave no. Boy, you my son. Still somehow ain't got my playing with me. I do not approve. That's why they let that boy cross the street by himself when they know. That's crazy. And never did leaving this house for a battle event. Okay, switchy on the Glock, shoot you out your Crocs. Most hated cookout traffic backed up for 20 blocks. I'm a legend in my section, you a peasant. I will watch you die from starvation. Get up out my chair and go get seconds. Why they playing with him? That nigga Millz bought some shells with him. It's like the ghost of Big L with him. Eric Young way up on that scale with him. This that hell in a cell feeling, but I ain't wrestling no. Jake, I'm surgical with this bitch, you ain't never blow. Another 24-hour fitness baller calling out a professional. I think it's best you know, I ain't no gardener, but from the dirt, I will turn your ass into a vegetable. That glow you had evaporated. Out all the subjects, math my favorite, and you getting killed cause you calculated. It's that potent shit. And the day that you can fuck with me is the day 1 + 1 = 3. I put in too much work to let a geek nigga play with me. Fuck DNA, I've been him since I went to A&D. Back in art and design, I was running through the hallways, battling between every period. This was always extra cartridge. Sketch the artist, Eric, we need more passion. One hand over the other, I call it cross hatching. My queen's killers told me. Ass Lux, ass Rex, ass Mook, they'll tell you.
Ain't never been outside. No.
I ain't done with you, boy. And the corniest nigga ever award winner is. You ain't nothing special, nigga. You just a whole full bitch. And yo, I never heard nobody say put on that. And never will. It's Jae Millz. Game up.
So that song in particular, that made people like that is a bop, yo. Like, you know what I mean? And I actually think like some of the other ones, like the bars in terms of like what he's saying about him was even a little bit harder, but like song wise, like it was kind of like how when Drake and Kendrick Lamar when they came out with their beef, and when Kendrick finally dropped Not Like Us, and it was like, wow, this is a bop. Like, you know what I mean? It don't even matter what he's saying, like it's a bop. That's kind of like that, but like he's still killing him and like put his name in it, and it was just dope. So basically, against DNA put out 3 tracks. Jae Millz matched with his 3 tracks, and it was like a 3-0. This is sweep. You know what I mean? And Jae Millz got the internet going crazy over the last couple weeks. Everybody consensus recognized that like he killed DNA, right? So, but Goodz was kind of a part of this as well, right? Like he's kind of instigated, or he kind of was a part of this beef as well. And so it was like, all right, it's like, no, you need to come outside too. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm coming at you. So Goodz is the one who dropped the first diss against Jae Millz. It's almost like he jumped in the fight, right? Because I think DNA was the loudest one to first really talk about Millz, and like Goodz was the host of the show, so DNA was the guest, and so like it's like they just talking whatever, and then but then Goodz like he decided to kind of jump in it, and then Millz just bombed on him. So Goodz dropped like multiple. He dropped multiple tracks like off the rip, whatever. So like Goodz probably got about 6 diss tracks on Jae Millz. Jae Millz only got 3, but it's definitely quality over quantity, right? Quality over quantity. And the 3 tracks that he came out with for Goodz, the last one's called Damaged Goods, Splitting the Block Again, and then Turn the Lights Off. So Turn the Lights Off is crazy. And you see the views Well, you can't. I don't have the screen shared here, but like in 2 days, 85,000 on damaged goods. In 4 days, Spin the Block Again has 114K. Turn the Lights Out that came out 10 days ago has 124K, right? And like it's showing levels, man. There's definitely levels to this. But I'm actually gonna show y'all a little bit of this last track. Oh, not the last track, but like this one track called Spin the Block Again. Spin the Block Again. I'm gonna show y'all that one. And then we're gonna wrap this up to go.
Kareem Akbar.
Look at that. He said, never forget, in the year 2025, Jae Millz changed the landscape of battle rap by destroying DNA and then destroying Goodz as he updated his resume. Because that's what they said. That was one of the things they said. They said, oh, no, Millz need to update his resume. Well, he's using y'all to do it. So let's take a look at this.
Never liked you.
This is a diss to Goodz primarily.
Browse, we got
The Black Gloves, produced by Ron Browse. If you notice, Ron Browse, he actually produced a lot of these diss tracks for Jae Millz. Ron Browse is the man that made Ether. We know Ron Browse too. He had like a little bit of a music career as well, but he's a producer primarily, and people forget that. And yeah, this has been like Millz' personal producer. But like, listen to this song though. This is crazy. Like he's like curated his sound, and it's crazy. Let's take a look.
I promise. It's Millz. Spin the block, spin the block. Niggas about to spin the block. Right here. Spin the block, spin the block. Now he live on this block right here. Niggas about to spin the block. Don't get put in a box. I think that's the building. Niggas getting put in a box. Right there. Don't get put in a box. Niggas getting put in a box. My nigga, trust me, that's the building. That's his building right there. Uptown, downtown, crosstown.
Voting department.
Harlem. Sometimes you gotta spin the block again. Goodz. I could take your whole store, bring it to my house and place it on the second floor and still have room for more. Fuck am I doing this for? I'm about to empty the bitch, let the clock run. We already stopped keeping score. If they all kings, then I'm here to overthrow niggas. I'm talking big facts like the Snow Patrol, nigga. Ain't gotta ask where that good at. I'm smoking on that Goodz pack. Chalking bloody slick walks, the last place he stood at. Damn. This that potent.
Oh my God. Listen to the chorus. It's saying, get him the fuck out of here. Now that's a DNA catchphrase. Like that's like his signature catchphrase. But like, and you hear the AI hooks and stuff like that. Like, yo, he's been killing, like he's showing levels, bro. He's showing levels.
Up. They saying I'm back in rare form. Don't matter how you was created, I'll make you airborne. Soul in the sky like a Motown session. We gon' shoot and spin around like a Motown record. This nigga Goodz don't sound good on no kind of record. Other than your battles, you ain't got no kind of record. Other than being a cornball, sassy lame nigga, I'ma show you what it sound like when you my aim, nigga. You got flame, nigga. On any beat, I'm insane, nigga. Oh, you think you big money? I'll turn you to change, nigga. Send a shot at me, I drop a bomb for exchange, nigga. This that pain, nigga. Ain't pretty boy buys chains, nigga. Mr. Slick walks, getting walked down for being slick. Trying to play with my name for clicks or get you clipped. And just to be petty since I already cooked DNA. When I'm done with Goodz, I wanna hear everybody say,
get him the fuck out of here. Get him the fuck out of here. This is crazy.
It's Millz. Get on my dick, nigga. You love my style. Fuck out of here, boy. Dead body, could you soon to be? You got a little dough, that's cool with me. You got a little car, little jewelry, but you fooled to me, that shit is cute to me. Which one of your bitches I fuck, change your mood with me? You fighting back from the grave, well that's cool to see. On a one-way trip, I will drag you to hell pronto. How you fit that big ego of yours in that little condo? How you feel right now knowing you getting smoked like a Fronto, getting beat like a bongo? Who remember how his song go? How you sending diss records to niggas for approval when them niggas that's giving you approval can't do what you do? I rebuke you with these bars, I'm a bomb. I will nuke you, put my fork through you. Now you dinner right before I puke you. And just to be petty since I already cooked DNA. When I'm done with Goodz, I wanna hear everybody say, Jae Millz. I'm the real slick talk god. You damaged goods now.
Damaged goods.
This shit like shooting a three-pointer with a tennis ball into a hula hoop. We smoking on that goods pack. You couldn't fuck with me on your best day. Harlem.
Yeah, I had to stop it there. But yeah, just like that's the one thing I like about this is he's showing y'all levels. He's showing y'all that he's like once you start making music, one, it's showing you a couple things that he didn't get signed for no reason. Like people don't get signed, people don't get record deals for no reason, right? He's showing that like not everybody that has battled or has been battle rap, not everybody can even transition to make music. Like most battle rappers struggle like hell to make anything. Like even, and again, I'm not showing you any of their other stuff, but like you could see there's levels and you can go back and you could look at all their other content and it's definitely levels. Like there's some rapping going on, like they could rap, but like they don't go in and out of flows. They don't go in and out of pockets. And like Jae Millz is an artist. Like it's showing that he's an artist and it's definitely levels and it's like, and he's putting the stuff out quick, whatever. So like it's production. Like it's like a concentrated effort, and he's like his production towards these dudes to smoke them to get them out of here to prove a point is crazy. Now, I will be the first to admit that like I don't think just the way battle rap is, I think these songs will give him some momentum, but like I don't think he could probably beat either one of them probably in a battle, but like they better stop messing with him on this music tip because he better than every battle rapper that's ever try to make music. He better than all of them. Even Daylight. I know Daylight have a little deal with TDE and stuff like that. But bro, Daylight can't make music like Jae Millz, bro. Like Jae Millz know how to make tracks, bro. So, but we're gonna see, man. We're gonna see how this goes. Obviously, I think there's gonna be probably a battle between one or both of these guys in 2026. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, man, we talked about a lot today. We talked a little bit about Shedeur Sanders and his debut. We talked about Southwest Airlines being fed up with y'all. What else did we talk about? The government's new loan program, possibly the 50-year loan. Talk about second screen content, reasonable doubt. A lot of good stuff, y'all. A lot of good stuff, man. I'm happy to be with y'all another week. This is episode 215 of the 280 Plus podcast, y'all. I'm your host, Los Def, and I'm out, y'all. Peace.